Okay, so today we're going to be discussing and analyzing political cartoons used throughout history. But it's not just in cartoon form, it's also illustrations and different art forms used to depict these races in these certain lights. We're mostly going to be covering the Revolutionary War and post or pre Civil War, but along with a little bit of the history. So one of the oldest political imagery that I could find was the Scandinavian troll. It's thought that it has racial undertones of depicting Jewish people, often with exaggerated facial features and often wearing pointy hats. The exaggerated facial features part will be very prominent later on throughout history when depicting different races. But you can still see trolls today in movies like Trolls movie, and other various stories in Hollywood like Lord of the Rings and plenty of things like that. Political cartoons and illustrations have been used in colonial times since the earliest days of settlements, depicting Native Americans as brutal people who attacked unprovoked colonialists. While some Native American tribes were warmongering, the colonialists often portrayed all Native Americans in this barbaric way. As you can see in this image, the the colonialists have no defenses, no, they're unarmed, they're vulnerable, and the natives just swoop in and violently massacre them for absolute no reason. And they attack the women and children, as seen in some of these situations right here. Um, this is not the case. I'm not going to dig too deep into that, but this is a bit of propaganda that they had over in England to paint the natives in this bad light. Um, this proves to be a popular trend in Americas, actually. As we see here, the Boston Massacre. It is quite the situation we got going on here. So we have the vulnerable and unarmed civilians that are peacefully protesting outside, and British soldiers just open fire. This was not the case. Um, this was depicted by Paul Revere, a revolutionary father in his own circumstances and situations. He uh, he created this to spread political propaganda to really to sway the public into being against the crown and the British population as a whole. Another little thing about this is this little dog. He keeps popping up in little revolutionary or patriotic illustrations, symbolizing a sort of peace or vulnerability, like an innocent little dog. I think that's an interesting little fact. Um, so then we have this depiction, this comic of Uncle Sam being devoured by an Irishman here and a Chineseman here. They're obviously taking his job and consuming America itself, basically, with this illustration. This was used to a lot of propaganda was spread through political cartoons at this time to hate on immigrants because they would come in and take the jobs away from people who thought that they rightfully deserved those jobs because they were there first, when in reality, they also came here and took it from Native Americans. So, this is just the pendulum of politics. As you can see later on in the Vietnam War, we have Uncle Sam here, uh, really downgrading this small Vietnamese man that is choosing violence, and he's obviously seen as crazy. Uncle Sam has no idea what to make of this. This was a way to dehumanize Vietnamese, the population, so that way we could go over there and fight and kill fellow man while feeling it was morally justified, because these obviously were not on the same human or moral level as Uncle Sam right here. So it was a sense of power and superiority that Americans felt they had over the Vietnamese. In conclusion, race political stereotypes have been present since the dawn of history, and they continue to have everlasting effects. We see this time and time again, and it is still causing division today in America. I hope this video was educational and fun to learn about, but please don't go off thinking that you can't have a troll in your fictional story, or that you should dislike Lord of the Rings and other films for having these mythological creatures. This is just part of history as a whole, and it would be unfair to impose our morals today on people from the past. Who knows, in 100 or 1,000 years from now, it may be seen as vile and could even end your career and relationships if you enjoy action movies, because they dramatize violence. So the best we can do is just not spread any more negativity or hate and just be positive. And if you think it's cool to play as a troll in a video game, awesome. Anyways, thanks for watching. Peace.